All right, y'all. You wanted it. You got it. 6 weeks into the season, and you're getting your first league video. I'm sorry it took so long. I did get a bunch of editing software. I wanted to give you guys a great product first year of the league. Wanted to have some music, memes, all that shit, but not to be. I am getting a new laptop this week, so hopefully next week we can experiment with that. So, sorry if it kind of looks a little bit like a hostage video, like there should be someone behind me ready to cut my head off. But, based on some of your participation lately, I'm not sure you deserve much more than that. I'm talking to you, Trey, and James. Not setting your lineup. For Trey, almost cost you a game, didn't quite cost you the game. It would have been a narrow loss. But, when you're in last place, points are very important. So to kind of, give up 40 points that you left on the bench with Caleb Williams, you could have had a chance to beat me, and I might have overthought something. I might have fucked with my lineup or something. You never know. You just never know. You got to come correct. You got to come to play. So looking at week 6, so I obviously took that one. And Trey, your punishment, as I told you at work, is you get no name now. You don't deserve a name. You ain't playing right. Now you got to win a game to get your dignity back, all right? So if you don't know how to do it, based on your 1-5 record and not setting your lineup, you might not. I'll teach you how, buddy. It's okay. Last week, though, the week before, James didn't set his lineup. And, not setting your lineup and, foregoing a couple points, that's one thing. But, it was a complete disaster of epic proportions because James has a sick team. He really has a great team. Now, I don't know that he was going to win last week, the week before, if he did set his lineup because Gio did hang 197 on him. However, the guy had his quarterback, wide receiver 1, both his flexes, including another quarterback, all in his starting lineup when they had a bye week. Now, here's the thing. Maybe he overreacts. He gets rid of Aaron Rodgers, doesn't get that 50-point game that he had this week. I don't know. But I don't think that any good comes from that. I think he absolutely, because, we're looking at the bench here, left ETN on the bench, left Schultz, Pittman, Addison, he left a lot of guys on the bench that could have done something, probably would have given him maybe about another 100 points. Again, not enough to win, but when you look at the standings, and he's in the, cluster of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us that are 3-0. With those points, he might actually be ahead of Gio. He might be behind him by a couple points. But as it stands, now you're back 100 points on the guy ahead of you, and with the same record. So that could come back and kind of fuck you. But you are in third, oh, I'm sorry. No, that's Steven. Shit. Yeah, so you're 50 points up on Gio, but you're 100 points behind Steven and myself. So, thank you for your service for me. But, in a 10-man league, I want you guys to all be competitive, And when I was playing Trey, I hit him up on the side. I said, listen, you got guys on IR taking up your bench. You got Russell Wilson, who ain't going to touch the field again. Dude, I want to win, but, I don't want to win like that. I'm not trying to be cheap, so do something and fucking, dude, the pen, put the fucking pen down once in a while. Use the pen as a reward, my man, not a lifestyle, sir. Okay? So, sorry, I sound old. I sound like a fucking, like a herb, Stop smoking weed and set your lineup. But there's only 10 of us, and it does low-key kind of suck, when you're Marcus and you're tearing everyone up, and one of your few L's is against the guy that never sets his fucking lineup. Trey's one win is against Marcus, which is kind of funny. So, in the bad beats category, you have Josh, who's 2-4, which in this league, that don't mean shit. Nobody's out of the playoffs, including Trey. Nobody has clinched the playoffs, including Gabe. It's going to be near impossible for a guy that starts 6-0 to miss the playoffs when, nobody else is doing what he's doing. He's first in points by a long shot. He's got the wins. So this guy, for all intents and purposes, is in. But for the guys at the bottom, don't, lose faith. Don't lose hope. You want to make that money, right? You want to get the ring. You want to get the spoils that go with it. Play the game. That's the only way to get it done, And by you putting more effort in, it keeps everybody else more competitive. It keeps the wire moving. It makes things exciting, all right? So that's all I'm asking of you guys. It's been good so far. There hasn't been drama. There hasn't been bullshit, so I appreciate that. But maybe a little bit more effort can be put into, a couple of you guys with your lineups and stuff. So where we stand right now, Josh Allen laid a big fat turd for me last night, so I remain in fourth behind AJ. I was really looking forward to waking up in third place and being able to talk my shit at work, but that was not to be. Allen puts up 14 points against the Falcons and puts up 26 fantasy points, which in our league is horrendous. In a normal league, he probably put up 22, maybe like 13, 14, which is, by his standards, pretty terrible. So, first place, obviously, you have Gabe. He's 6-0. I'm eating my words, Gabe. I was completely fucking wrong. I thought your team was a fraud, and it has only gotten better and better and better. Pat Mahomes appears to be back. He's he's not trying to force the ball to Kelsey every fucking game anymore. It's not like the bromance thing anymore. He doesn't have a Tyreek Hill, so he's got to spread the ball around, and that's when he's his best, when his options are open. They're running the ball a little bit more, which still, by Andy Reid and Kansas City's standard, is almost nothing at all. But still keeps defenses a little bit more honest. They'll risk a blitz once in a while, and that's when Pat's the best, when he's doing play action and he's got a host of options. He doesn't have a diva wide receiver that needs 10 targets a game. He doesn't have the Kelsey, who if his targets go down, he's maybe thinking about leaving, whatever. He's playing the best ball he's played in a couple years. I would hate to see them in the Super Bowl again. That's like a nightmare for the NFL. Everyone hates these fucking guys. They're so annoying. They're like a bunch of fucking cornballs, but whatever. He's stepping up. He's doing it for you. Puka Nacua, crazy season. I'm putting it up there with the likes of like Michael Thomas, I think 2017. Cooper Kupp, 2022, I want to say, maybe 2021. You're talking this guy's probably going to have over 150 catches. This guy might get 2,000 yards. It's fucking crazy. But the only thing I'll say is, he's day-to-day right now. It's an ankle injury, and that's where it starts. That's what happened with Kupp. He had one ankle injury. He missed 2 games. He comes back. He destroys everyone, wins the Super Bowl MVP. And then the next year, boom, first game of the season, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, 13 receptions. Does it the second game. Third game, he's hurt. So, they got to make sure they're not going to kill this guy. He exists in the real world. He's not just for fantasy football. You cannot expect a guy to get 16 targets in the NFL and not get fucking cracked several times a game. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that, they're throwing hospital balls up there with Matt Stafford, but, that work is, there's a reason they play 1 game a week. If you're a workhorse of that level, and he can get the deep ball. He runs a great route and can get open, but his size, his body style, and his speed aren't really indicative of a guy like a Calvin Johnson, a Julio Jones, a Randy Moss, a Terrell Owens, Ocho Cinco, a guy like that that's not going to get hit all that much because they're spending a lot of their time just outrunning the defense and getting a touchdown, or just not being targeted and not being hit. So it's a risky game you're playing, doing the Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola kind of role where, you're a slot guy, you're a deep guy, you'll run the ball, you're going to get hit a lot, it's going to hurt a lot, but as for fantasy, he is just doing absolutely incredible things, man. Roma Dunze, fucking incredible. I hate how to say, I don't know how to say his name. Kane, whatever. I fucking hate him. I hate Miami running backs because you can never trust them. They're always getting fucking hurt. There's usually a committee. And of fucking course, that's not the case this year. It's a fucking perfect storm. So this guy has remained healthy and has been absolutely ripping it. Other than Jonathan Taylor, maybe Bijan, I don't see anybody else doing what these guys are doing as far as dependability goes. In a PPR league, guys like Alvin Kamara, days of old, LaDainian Tomlinson, guys like that. Those are the guys you want. Christian McCaffrey, pass catching backs. I'm sorry, I left McCaffrey out of this year, who is incredible also. Having that reliability every single week, unbelievable. You have Irving and Rachaad White. I've never been sold on either. I think they complement each other very well in real life. For fantasy, you never really know who the guy's going to be that game. If it's a rushing game, it's Rachaad White. If it's a passing game, it's Bucky Irving. You never know. One might get 60 yards on the drive. The other one vultures the touchdown. You got both, dude. You have one of the best handcuffs in the NFL. So Drake May stepping up, doing big things in real life and big things in fantasy. I mean, you're stacked. You have, DeAndre Swift. You have Travion Harrison. You somehow got Darren Waller. We're talking about him. You went out and got him. So you have depth at every position. You don't have a backup quarterback, but at this point, is it the end of the world? No. Would I personally probably get a third one and drop Calvin Ridley? I would, but, what you're doing is great. It's awesome. Congratulations, 6-0. Very much deserved. Very, very, very much deserved. Scary team. And, honestly, unless there's injuries to your team, you're probably not going to lose a game. Maybe you lose one or two. I think you're definitely going in as the number one seed. If nobody gets injured, and that's a huge if, obviously, in the NFL. But, congratulations. You're killing it. On to number two, we have Marcus. Marcus, you can change your name back, by the way. You did win a game. So, you got Stafford, you got Herbert. What do you got? You got a third guy. And you got Jackson Dart. So, great. I would say a solid quarterback core. I'd say maybe a B. Your receivers are volume monsters. Your running backs, volume monsters. Your tight end, talented, volume. You got volume all over the board. DJ Moore, you got guys that are going to get opportunities every single game. AJ Brown's the wide receiver 1. Smith and Jigba, wide receiver 1 on that team. Gibbs, running back 1. Kyron Williams, running back 1. Laporta, tight end 1. These are all guys that make major impacts. And James Cook, you have a very, 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 very strong running back core. And I would probably just keep your team the way it is, if I'm being honest. Maybe, outside of your two starting wide receivers, but you got one Dolly Robinson. The guy gets fucking targets like crazy too, man. I think your team's basically perfect. Would I probably maybe consider dropping one of your 6 running backs and maybe getting another quarterback before one of your guys goes down or you have a bye week? I would, but then again, you're ahead of me. You got a win up on me, and let's see where you're at points wise. You're a win up on me, and you got me by 70 points too. So who am I to say anything? You're doing great. Congratulations to you. It's well deserved. Now we're moving down to AJ, third place, barely ahead of me. With this team, Brock Purdy, Bo Nix, Mac Jones. Fucking hate Mac Jones. Just such a fucking pussy. Pickens. I love Pickens. I think if he was more mature, he could probably be one of the most elite receivers in this league. I think talent-wise, it's very hard to find a guy better than him. But at the same time, he's doing something behind closed doors because this guy's just not seeing the looks he should be seeing. But listen, great player nonetheless. Running back, you have Christian McCaffrey, amazing. Receiver, you got Justin Jefferson, amazing. So, where you're very top heavy, like your RB1 is incredible. Your wide receiver 1 is incredible, but your backups, your twos and your flex aren't amazing by any standard, but good floor guys. Xavier Worthy and Brees Hall, solid floors. When you're still getting projected 17 points in the 7th week of the season, very good. I would say that your weakness is 100% your quarterbacks. I don't trust any of these guys as far as I could throw them. They are playing well. I'll give you that. Purdy has shown that he is susceptible to injury, though. Last year and this year, he's a young quarterback. That fairy tale beginning kind of has faded. He's back to real life. He's lost, some of his guys to injury. So we'll see how he pans out. I like the guy. We'll see. I still am not convinced you're the real deal, AJ. I'm sorry. You do have more points than me, so, it's only by 9 points. So, what the fuck? I've also made plenty of mistakes where I bench players that I should have started. I could have another win. I could probably have another 60 points, but I've made some mistakes. I do tend to overthink things. So, if I'm giving, Gabe an A, and I'm giving Marcus a solid B, I'm giving you a C, bro. I don't care. I'm giving you a C. And there ain't nothing you can do about that. What are you gonna do? Fucking forget to put gravy on my potatoes on Expo? Alright, whatever. Congratulations, you're 3rd place. Fuck you. Alright. Now you have my elite team, who, I'm having, kind of a roller coaster season. I knew, and I said it on draft night, it's going to take several weeks for my team to come together. I have a lot of rookies that need to learn the system, need to get their first hits in, and need to get the starting job, quite frankly. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt wasn't even a starter to start the season. I knew, once he hit the field with all the hype and what I had seen, that it was a matter of time, and now he is starting. His first start wasn't amazing, but he's had a couple really banger games, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, So the future's bright for him. Kamara is still a volume guy. He's still got the most rock-solid floor in running back history. My quarterbacks are elite. I got 3 inside of the top 10 of our scoring. My wide receivers have been sketchy at best, but I've also had Mike Evans and Ricky Purcell on injured for 3 to 4 weeks each, and they still might not play this week. So being 500, losing 2 receivers that I would start, and the guy that I drafted as my wide receiver 1, Brian Thomas, not doing a hell of a lot until this week, really isn't helping. The Jacksonville team looks pretty bad, and they are back to the, MJD, Fred Taylor. They're rotating their running backs. They're, showing obviously they don't really trust Lawrence all that much to throw the ball. He's throwing the ball less than he ever has. And the guy that was really a breakout star last year, Brian Thomas Jr., has not really shown any progression. In fact, he has shown regression, which sucks because it's a sophomore. And you hear sophomore slump, but you would think after years of that being a thing that players would kind of be diligent in their rookie offseason after they blow up, have over 1,000 yards, take that next leap, really almost live with your quarterback at that time. And, as far as quarterbacks go, Lawrence kind of is a pretty guy, maybe something happens and they develop a deeper connection. Who knows? Who's for me to judge? Anyway, so right now, my receiver core, which sucks because I want to make a trade, but I don't want to overreact. I'm in the top 6. I'm in playoff contention. I've already faced, 3 out of the top 4 teams, so honestly, I'm in a good spot, and I shouldn't overreact. I shouldn't jump the gun. I shouldn't make a trade for a player that might end up sitting on my bench. And to get somebody of value, I'm going to have to probably deal one of my 3 awesome quarterbacks. And then I have a bye week, and then what the fuck do I do? So I'm thinking stay put. Be patient. Unless something incredible comes up on the wire, I like where I'm at. I got Kamara's handcuff. Ramondre can't keep his hands on the ball, which fucking blows, but, what are you going to do? I'm not really starting him anyway, so he's probably hitting the brick soon. If anybody wants him, send me something. But, listen, Goff has been playing well. If not a little inconsistent, same thing with Diggs. If those guys could kind of show a little consistency, I think I'm in a beautiful spot. Baker has been incredible. I like where I'm at. I have depth at every position. I have great players at every position. I don't have an elite, top tier, amazing talent outside of quarterback like a lot of the top 3 teams do, with guys like Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua, Christian McCaffrey. But having said that, I like where I'm at. I think I'm set up pretty nice. So if I'm giving an A to Gabe, and I'm giving a B to Marcus and a C to AJ, I'm giving myself a solid B plus. All right, I think my team is debatably better than 2 out of the top 3 teams ahead of me. I stand by that. Eat a dick. All right, so now we're moving down to the Republican part. What the fuck?